Welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about variables. So variables are basically just global values that we can set and override during the life cycle of a macro run. So we can go ahead and go to the args section. In the args section, we have the parameters and the variables. So for now, we will create variables. So let's create a image variable and add two more. So we can create uh, x coordinate and x coordinates variable and y coordinates variable. So we'll use them in our macro. And of course, variable names must be unique, so you can't duplicate variable names. Let's edit this, and now we can go ahead and set a variable. So for example, I want to set the x coordinates variable to 1000, for example. 1000, and set another variable. Let's duplicate this one, and y variable to 500. What this will give us, it will give us the possibility of setting these two variables to these values. So, and we can and uh, and by doing that, we can now go ahead and use these variables on some steps. So, for example, let's do the left mouse press, and instead of using the x and y coordinates providing the x and y values manually, we can just go to the args section and read the x from x variable and y from the y variable. And now we can go ahead and test that, and it will work accordingly. Yeah, as you saw, it did jump directly here because this is the 1000 by 100, and as you can see, the mouse is still pressed, so I can move ahead. So it did press the mouse at this coordinates. So another thing that we can test is another set variable, for example. So we can set a variable, the image variable, to an image. So we can either set the variable value to a text or the variable value to an image. So you can snip the image, for example, the GitHub logo. Okay, and set that. And right now we can use this image in the screen. So we can find image, and now instead of choosing the image manually, we can go ahead in the args and image from image variable. And when we get back here, it will tell us that the image is read from this variable, and we can no longer provide it manually. And another thing that the find image step provides is a way to set the the x and y values of the found image. So for example, if I find the image, I want to move the mouse to the middle, and when I move the mouse to the middle, I want to set the x and y coordinates of the mouse in these values. And what this will do is it will override these values, because we set x coordinates to 1000. It will override them, and then it will set them to the new values. And we can test that here. We can add a time wait, and then what we can do is add a keyboard text, and the keyboard text will be from the variable, and we can read the x coordinates, and we can read the y, we can print the y coordinates. Okay, so test this out. So it will wait for 2 seconds. It will find the image. It will set the image here, and it will write the two coordinates. So it is these ones. So let's retest it again. Let's remove this mouse press. Okay, it will set the variables, it will find the image, it will set the variables again, override them, and then it will print the x and y coordinates from the variable. So it did find the image here, and the coordinates here are 821 by 178. So yeah, and, and of course, for now, these are the steps that we can use steps in. So we can use the variables in the mouse click. So as we saw here, we can use the variables in the mouse click. We can read from variables, and we can also read variables from keyboard text inputs and in find image. And the only way to set variables is are in the find image, set found image coordinates to variables, and these steps here allow us to manually set the values. So yeah, that was it regarding the variables, and I'll see you in the next one.